Most of the time, the rest of the body is unaffected by a coma. You may be wondering why people still have a heart attack and breathe normally during a coma. This is because the brain is usually the only part of the body involved. So other parts of the body, such as the autonomic system that regulates heart rate and breathing, remain unaffected. In some cases, people need to be given a breathing tube, but people can breathe and digest food on their own. Those in a vegetative state have different behaviors than other coma patients. They are unable to perform any cognitive functions, such as speaking or responding. They may open their eyes, yaw, or move their limbs, but they will not actually respond to any kind of motive. Family members often mistakenly think that their loved one will be completely healed when they see any kind of travel, but in a vegetative case, that is rarely the case. There are several variations of comas. Comas are not the idea that one size fits all. Some comas, such as the vegetative coma when a person has not responded for a long time, can last for years. Other comas caused by a traumatic brain injury can last only a few days. Medical coma is a coma that is deliberately placed under a person. This often happens when doctors want to limit brain activity to allow the brain to cool down. Doctors know exactly how long a coma will last and can resuscitate a patient if necessary. Medically induced comas are very similar to being placed under anesthesia. A coma for treatment puts a person in a different position than a natural coma. Induced coma is actually very similar to anesthesia. It ends when drugs are given to a patient, such as anesthesia. They can predict more than natural coma. You can't actually dream when you're in a coma. People often ask themselves, can you dream of a coma? The scientific answer is no. Scientific studies have found that during a coma, there is no evidence of any kind of circadian cycle. This means that people have never been to their sleeping part where dreams happen. People have recalled having horrible nightmares while waking up from coma. Sometimes, people wake up and remember having nightmares in their coma. But experts told that these people may be remembering something that has never really happened. In fact, they're probably having hallucinations rather than actual dreams. But why do people hallucinate during comas? Doctors say the nightmares likely result from the brain trying to figure out the senses and sounds around it. When you're in a coma, your brain tries its best to make sense of what is around you, but it doesn't work well. Doctors suspect nightmares in the human brain, trying to detect various sounds and nerves around them while they are in contact. The brain works in ways that we could not fully comprehend, and seeing things that do not exist can be the brain's best way of finding the outside world that we can feel when we are unconscious. The likelihood of coming out of a coma can usually be determined within the first 24 hours. Patients were judged based on a sliding scale, known as the Glasgow Coma Scale, during their first 24 hours of coma. Scales range from 3 to 15. The lower the rate in the first 24 hours, the less likely they are to recover. The younger you are, the better the chances of fully recovering. If you are over 40, you have less chance of recovering better than a young person. A study of 140 patients who had a 1-month implant found that those aged 20 and under had a 19% independence rate after 1 year. Those between 20 and 40 were only 9%, and those over 40 were 0%.